Well, hello and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflicts. My name is the Watcher on the Web. I'm filling in for Scott, who is indisposed at the moment. And I'm joined, as always, by Joe Dolio. Joe, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well and good.
I'm hearing that.
Scout class, all of. Oh,
Oh no,
I'm
you
sorry.
go
What?
ahead. I was going to say, I heard from chat that there is some sort of Sasquatch-shaped dark figure roaming in and out of the tree line. Can you confirm?
I'm almost positive that that's actually anti-pattern and not me. I'm sitting over here. Hunches, hunches about to wander behind me, but there's lots of folks from the chat here. A lot of good people. We're getting well. We're getting well underway for the scout course. We've only had one casualty so far this week, and that was at the store. Someone cut themselves on an axe. So fortunately, Kevin, being an Air Force PJ, jumped right in and took care of the injury. We got him off to the hospital, and he's back and in class. So uh, it gets hardcore out here, man. Even when we're shopping, we do it legit. You know,
Ah, your
a
students
good
are
time
so
being
sharp they
had.
cut.
We've got a lot of folks here today.
Your students are so sharp they cut themselves, eh? Uh oh. I think I might have a bit of a disruption, but I can't tell if it's on Joe's side or mine, so my only choice is to keep talking until I see his face start moving again. Oh, there he
Back.
is. Yep, there he's back.
Well, we had this problem the other day too, but um, anyway, discuss this around the fire. Get out and meet your mutuals. Have a great time, and do it, man. Get out and meet each other.
Hell to the yes. Somebody asked what happened Wednesday. We announced that Monday. We didn't schedule yesterday, or we didn't do a show yesterday because there were scheduling conflicts. That's kind of it. So, well, all right, everybody, we've got a good show today. We're going to be talking about snapping over Snap and Ireland in flames. But before we get there, we've got a couple of very interesting odds and ends. And honestly, I wanted to start today with just a bit of what I found was like probably some of the most heartwarming good news that I had available to me over the last 48-hour period. Joe, did you see that the troops got paid and in an interesting way?
I did not.
Ah, well, let me share this with you. Actually, let the man himself say it. Oh, where's that audio?
Talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military because I love the military and I love the country. And any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million.
I just want to reiterate what just got said. Trump was finding money that was still around from other sources to move to use to pay the military. There was a $130 million shortfall, and a single private donor reached out and decided to donate this month's military's paycheck. All of it.
That's pretty cool. Let's just see though if the good people at the IRS apply it to the proper accounts and get it where it's supposed to go one time.
True, yeah. Disbursement's going to be a different thing entirely. That's true, but
Right.
I have heard from reliable sources that those people who generally, for various reasons that are in the military, that their banks deposit their paychecks early, have received it. So, good deal, guys. The military got paid, even during a shutdown. That's pretty cool. Let's hope he's American. Yeah, well, there is always that.
I do know that there's a Green Beret here who did indeed get paid. So,
Well, there you go. Oh, but Joe, as heartwarming and good as that story is, this next one is not, and it strikes a little close to home. I'm not sure if you saw this because you were probably too busy out doing training, but did you see this ex-Marine candidate from Maine who had a bunch of very interesting things about him revealed?
Yeah,
one of
I
which
did,
being,
and we've actually talked about him at length.
yeah,
And here's the problem: there are a lot of folks who will laugh this kind of stuff off, but this guy's giving them real training. And look at the weather they're out and training in. We can't get guys to come out on a nice warm weekend like this. They can. Your enemy is training and you're not. And I don't want to say, oh, but look at who you're getting trained by. You're getting trained by U.S. Marines. They're getting trained by veterans of the Syrian conflict. They're getting trained by veterans of the Ukrainian conflict. These are lies we tell ourselves to justify not going to class.
I want to make sure I break this down for anybody who's not completely tracking. So this is that candidate in Maine who is getting in trouble for having a a tattoo of a literal Totenkopf. Not like resembling a Totenkopf, not near a it was literally a Totenkopf. The Totenkopf, for those of you unaware, was a tattoo worn not just by SS members, but specifically by the SS members who were charged with administering death camps. One of the worst things you could possibly get. Yes, he also has 1919 on his arm, which stands for SS. He claims it's tied to some kind of trail agency, but the funny thing there is when people looked into that place, it was not founded in 1919. Wouldn't you know? It turns out he has also been administering training for years to his local Socialist Rifle Association and Antifa, as depicted here in this picture.
Yeah, they're doing a lot more, and they're getting out there, and we need to be doing it too. They're actually training to fight. Our side is just laughing at them. I get it. Look at them. They're not the fittest bunch. They're not the most well-trained bunch, but they're actually getting out and doing things.
Give me just a second. I'm going to enlarge the photos on that so you guys can see them better. I hate this formatting people do on their websites where they make everything as small as possible.
Civilian outfitting. This may come as a surprise to you, but there's an incredibly high number of Nazis among tattoo artists.
Yeah, facts.
Shocker. And the kind of guy who get a Nazi tattoo knows the right guy to go to get that tattoo.
Oh, by the way, he claims that he got it when he was in the Marine Corps, and that he was, I can't remember where he said he was, Kosovo or something, and got drunk and said he liked that skull tattoo. Yeah, I'm not buying it at all. Not only that, but laser removal's what, like $600?
You get a $10 super chat.
Oh, shoot. Let me get over to Rumble and get that $10 super chat while I'm on my way there. I just want to say before I lose this that this guy's... I need something about this story to be checked out and remembered here. This wasn't opposition research bringing this to light. He brought this to light, or at least part of this, in an effort to try and get ahead of it because the election campaign isn't for a while now. So he figures if he can get this out now, he can just get out in front of it before the election, and, you know.
The other thing about this is that everyone's acting shocked, but at the heart of it, the Nazis were socialists. That's who they are.
Yeah,
right?
actually,
So
yeah, perfect. $10 from Phil Coggins.
To me, the Democrats are Nazis. Just like the anti-fascists, I know this will be hard to grasp, but they're the fascists.
Wait a minute. The anti-bad guy club is the bad guys? What a twist. Must be M. Night Shyamalan writing this simulation or something. Phil Coggins for $10 echoing what Joe just said. Let this tat be a reminder that the only difference between Stalin and Hitler is who they thought the Jews were. And a hearty thank you for 5 gifted subs once again from Low Key LARP. Thanks, boss.
And I want to point out that I made a comment about how our side will look at these photos and just make fun of them and decide it's a reason not to train, and it's already happening in the chat. Y'all are missing the entire point.
Yeah, that is very factual. You guys need to get out and train it. Like, I don't even know how to describe this to you. Like, you are witnessing something. Hey, look, this is stupid, but you need to understand it. My drill instructor told me this. I think probably third month of boot camp, right? Like, there is somebody out there right now training to kill you. They are training to cave your head in with an axe. They are training to shoot you. They are training to kill your entire family. And the only thing that is going to keep that person from succeeding is you training harder. And you literally, that was just a concept for me. I just knew that, you know, there was probably some guy out in the Middle East, right? But you could see it. They're not even being shy about it, and they live probably down the street.
Yeah, but I'm going to make a comment about this photo. If you do come to class and you bring an umbrella to shade you from the sun, we are going to clown you shamelessly. You think what we're doing to Squishy is bad? It's going to get worse. You know, Squishy Hunter won't be in the chat because he's in class, and he better be paying attention to class and not the chat. Rowan, I'll handle that thing for you. I will do it.
But yeah, remember he posted these himself too. Like the reason other people are finding these, he didn't post this that he was out, you know, training these guys to kill people. He posted that he, you know, the Totenkopf thing. He came out and got ahead of that, or tried to. Using that, people were like, wait a minute, and dug into his Reddit history and started finding all this other, you know, I'm an avowed communist shit. Also, just a fun side note for myself, his excuse for I can't be a communist or a socialist is I own a small business. Yeah, that's not how that works. You're living under capitalism now. Of course you own a business.
Yeah, you got to pay your bills somehow, right?
All right, guys. I think I've hammered this as much as I can. If you don't take from that you need to be getting to class, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Joe, you've got our third odds and ends, and there are no visuals, but I highly recommend y'all pay the hell attention.
Yeah, so I'm going to read you something from Gray Man Briefing. If you don't subscribe to this, you can subscribe to it at supersa.com, SUPERESSE. I'll put it in the chat. It's the Gray Man Briefing. They put it out as things come up. Bottom line up front, Antifa plans October 30th mischief night against ICE. Internal documents call for attacks on all law enforcement and says responses will escalate if demands not met. Internal communications between Antifa affiliates indicate a planned mischief night of autonomous direct actions against ICE, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and local police on October 30th. Those in the know, that's Devil's Night. And obtained Antifa distributed document framed the mobilization as an ultimatum and demand list. Opening with the passage, everything comes to a head. We drop the terms. We arrange the time and the date. Your people and our people, we have demands in no uncertain terms. The following conditions must be met or hostilities will continue and they will escalate. The flyer explicitly called for escalation if demands were not met and listed at least one violent objective in clear language. It urged that people revolt against ICE, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and local police, destroying their infrastructure, discrediting their operations, and overwhelming their personnel. Editor's note, that's literally sedition. The material promotes decentralized actions and encourages participants to join local networks to coordinate attacks and disruptions rather than operate under a single command structure. This is important. That's breaking it down into cells. Harder to track. The Antifa communications intercepted appear to originate from Ann Arbor, Michigan, Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. It's calling for actual violence on the 30th. So you should be aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to get subscribed to that for sure. Once again, that's Super Essay, Super ESS.
How much of that did we actually get before it zapped me?
All of it. All of it. We heard all of it. Or at least I heard all of it. So I assume that means the chat heard all of it. So, yeah, I need to subscribe to that brief because I don't currently have it. I will say I will be interested to see what a turnout they can get because I believe the stink of no kings is still on everybody. I'm also interested to say, Joe, I don't know how many of this you've seen, but like a lot of people have come out and given a lot of interviews because apparently the FBI is going around to a bunch of different people who've been covering Antifa for years. And the common refrain from all of those reporters who have reported on meeting with the FBI is that they literally were doing exactly what we said and were absolutely not tracking Antifa whatsoever on a or at least not on an agency level. Who knows what, groups of them were actually whipping Antifa up in the background and had their own little private org maps. But that the FBI did not have Antifa on their radar at all. They legitimately were as an agency doing the "it's just an idea" thing, and in fact, that it pretty much applies to all left-wing terrorism since the '60s. I don't know if you saw any of that. Probably not. You
I didn't catch
the
classes.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people who I would assume, Rowan, who have substantial amounts of evidence to turn over to the FBI. Unfortunately, were we several years ago, I had many thousands of hours spent combing video and uploading it to a previous Twitter account that got banned for that very reason, documenting. But, times are what they are. Yes, that is
Well, they'll
correct.
continue to target Christian churches before they'll go after Antifa, no matter who's at top. I know everyone will say, look, 100%, we got Cash, we're good. Cash has been able to do nothing, and Cash doesn't really appear to want to do anything. So, good luck.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's better than nothing. I'm glad they're going after him. At least we have that. So, I am hoping that people take this with the seriousness it deserves. It does seem like they are, at least comparatively. It feels like they are. I can't help but feel, Joe, that this is them only trying to get the horse back after it's long been out the barn.
Right. No, I think that's 100% right. But I really don't know that much is going to come of it. It's lip service. It's making us feel better that someone's doing something, but that doesn't mean they're actually going to do anything. Shocking, I know.
Well, on that downer note,
your taxes, and they haven't.
Right. On that downer note, Joe, we have a little video presentation here. You wanna cue this up for us?
Yeah, so this is a video from Mountain Readiness. Patrick Seven makes an appearance in this video, and so does NC Scout. Here's some photos from the weekend at Mountain Readiness. I urge you all to go to the event in May, and then come to Mountain Readiness West in the fall, where we'll have a ton of great vendors, great classes, good things going on. I was just talking with Wesley Hightower last night. He's really excited to be coming out to Montana for it, but this will be the same event we run out in Montana this year, July 24th to the 26th. Or if you want to go to the one in North Carolina, it'll be May 1st through 3rd, I believe, in Harmony, North Carolina, at a great site. The campground's really nice. It's got a nice bar in it and a nice stage where we have music and all that good stuff. So pretty good event. Lots of great folks selling lots of great stuff and teaching great classes. There's Patrick right there. Sorry, Patrick, I outed you to the world. And there's Brush Beater, or Kadriov, whichever one you think. It was a great event, and I highly recommend everyone go to it. Met a lot of great folks that I consider friends now, and more lifelong friends. So good stuff.
And that was all because
Hold on,
they were
Billy
going to
Bloss.
classes.
I'm not going to tolerate you implying that Matt is a jihadist. That man has killed more jihadists than you've ever met in your life.
I was going to say that's
I'm not going to take that. That's BS.
that's an ironic thing to say if you'd know.
No, don't LOL. It's not funny. I don't find it funny, dude.
Does the ginger one drink beer? Is the ginger one Matt?
Anyway, there are things that I think that we can joke about, but whether or not Matt is a jihadi is not one of them.
No, completely correct.
Yeah, what ho? Very good, Alpha Charlie Concepts. Oh, that's a side. That's always a side quest, John. We're not going down the side quest today. Although I did have the captured hat from that event on my head last night. So a lot
You
of
want to
y'all
tell
wondering
them?
what all these side stories are. This is what happens when you don't come to events. You don't get the cool, fun side stories.
It's true. Why don't you tell them where they can look for future events there, Joe?
Yeah, so you can check it out. I don't have anything on the schedule yet. Winter courses in Montana. Just because we have mountains, we might as well use them. But you can find.
Oh, I'm getting a little bit of breakup from Joe, but you can find that over on tactical-wisdom.com. We'll see if I can fill in until.
Am I
until
back?
Oh, yeah, he's back now.
Yeah, we're going to kind of have a conference today, me and Matt from Brush Beer and Wes from Rally Point International, where we kind of chat about schedules and classes and what we have going on and try to coordinate each other. Because as Wes pointed out last night, the skills we all teach build on each other. We want to try to coordinate as much as we can. So more to follow on that, but you can check the training courses section of my website. I haven't gotten any content out on there for regular articles this week because I've been on the road. But I've got a little more free time today and tomorrow since I'm just playing a bad guy. So I may get some stuff out there. But come on out and join all sorts of classes, learn things, meet your mutuals face to face. I heard a great story from Squishy Hunter about meeting Rowan, and somebody's first deer story came from meeting each other in the chat. And you know what? That's kind of cool. I love those stories where we're all getting together and meeting people. I mean, we've had weddings and children come from this. And
On a couple of occasions now.
And we had a lot of folks who just stopped by last night just to hang out with us between classes, and that was cool too. So come on out to an event, watch our websites, check things out. But I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to go and buy a book or something, because Be Prepared, who's not in the chat because he's helping with class this morning, but Be Prepared has this really nice pistol here, and he would like me to buy it, but I can't buy it unless y'all buy some stuff. So get on it. Handle your business.
This is starting to get reminiscent of Exumbris's mid-hunting trip post all of a sudden.
Right. Hey, and for the record, NC Scout is very near to getting an FFL, so there could quite possibly be some brush beater firearm sales coming up in the future too. So
Good stuff. So if you want to help Matt get supported and help build up that war chest before he starts importing the good stuff.
I know, it's like, this is going to be terrible because now I'll get dealer pricing on things. Now I'm going to be ordering all kinds of stuff.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Well, all right, folks. Speaking of danger, let's get into our main topic today, which is, hey, guys, I think they're going to snap over Snap. Will the government shut down, halt food stamps? The answer to that is, if it continues, yes, absolutely. Within a few days, Snap will stop. Joe, I thought you'd find this entertaining. I don't find a lot of good uses for grok, but one of the good uses for grok, one of the good uses is to try and make it wander into stuff in an entertaining way. So I had a little conversation with Grok yesterday, and I said, Grok, pretend that you're the lead biologist on a team at Yellowstone, and that the previous crew has been feeding these bears 100% of their caloric need for 50 years, and now it's going to stop. What is your strategy for mitigating tourist deaths? And then walked it through that, and then once it gave me some pretty good deep answers, I said, Grok, it's time to admit that this is not a post about bears. And funnily enough, it immediately switched gears and went right into it. And we actually do kind of have a comparison that it drew me to get an idea of how people might act here. Joe, I'm sure that you're aware, because you go camping all the time, of the saying that park rangers have, that the reason that you can't design a trash can that people can use and bears can't is because there is a large amount of overlap between the lowest quartile of humans and the highest quartile of bears. You've heard this?
Yes.
Okay.
The key to operating a bear-proof trash can is you have to be smarter than the bear. There's the problem.
Yes. So, keeping in mind that bears are of roughly low human intelligence, there is a situation I would like to draw your all attention to. Are you guys aware that in 1970, I believe it was Yellowstone Park, realized that the bears in that area, 100% of the bears were getting 100% of their caloric need from the dump that was on site. And so an effort was launched to immediately cut all access to that dump off from the bears. I highly recommend, if you want an idea of what this could look like if it just happens unabated, I would look into that and understand the behaviors that they observed and the measures they had to go through in order to stop the bears from killing people in order to try and find food. Highly look into the Yellowstone dump closure. We're talking, they had to close the entire park for 2 years and send teams around all times of day and night with basically riot control teams with armed guards to make sure they didn't get killed, but people just to harass the bears as far back into the woods as they could until they finally pushed them 30 miles in. If you want to know what that looks like in an inner city with different kinds of bears, I actually, Joe's been writing about it quite a bit for a number of years.
Yeah, listen, we don't feed the bears because then the bears become 100% dependent upon you. Huh. Almost like there's a lesson in there.
Yeah. I will say, though, there are some parts of this that are a little bit overblown. The Democrats have done the thing that they've always done. Joe, I've been through a couple of government shutdowns or threatened government shutdowns. What's the very first thing the news agencies do a couple days out before it happens?
I don't know. I don't.
Whoa, okay. So
they
always roll down to the food shelter in their local, or their food pantry in their local area, and talk about how it's just, there's not enough food here. Look at all these people that are going to be relying on this, and look how empty the shelves are already, Jim. This is going to get bad.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
The media's setting to amp this up, which tells me the Democrats aren't going to fold until this at least partially kicks off. Which is crazy to me, because they're already getting blamed for the shutdown. How are they not going to get blamed for withholding food? If anybody out there in the audience has a theory on how they were going to do that, in fact, let's just hear it. Let's hear your best theories. How are they going to try and blame the Republicans on their shutdown, causing the shutdown of SNAP, another program that they set people up to be dependent on?
So here's the other problem with this. In addition to the potential SNAP not loading because of the shutdown, there are also new work for welfare requirements that roll out on November 1st. So either way,
Yes.
you're going to see massive changes to it. Even if the government turned on today, there's still going to be a problem on November 1st because it's now going to require 20 hours of work in order to obtain SNAP for most people.
Yeah.
And those people are like, but I don't want a job. So that's a problem.
Probably correct. And unfortunately, let's talk about another thing that I think both of us are probably pretty familiar with. Hey, Joe, a lot of SNAP doesn't actually get used for food, does it? Which,
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said a lot of SNAP cards don't end up actually getting used, at least not by the person that it's issued to, for food. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So there's a massive, massive amount of fraud in this program that goes on. There are whole black markets for this.
Like,
Grocery
for example,
stores.
if you go to Metro Detroit, you will find dozens of little shops that say, "You buy, we fry." We're a fish shop, but we'll fry the fish for you and give it to you because some SNAP benefits can't be used on prepared foods at restaurants. But they'll say, well, we're just cooking it for them, even though they're buying it at our fish market, and it's not really a fish market.
There's that. There's also well-known cases that, I mean, they used to get busted all the time. It's been a number of years since I've seen it bust for this. There are a lot of cases where, like, flat-out grocery stores or managers or people working at the store will be like, hey, I'll give you $50 for your $100 SNAP card, right?
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Works
And
out
there
great
are,
for the grocery store.
liquor stores generally owned by a certain class that speaks Arabic that classify every purchase in their store as food, even though it's not food, like alcohol and cigarettes,
Yeah.
enabling you thereby to use your SNAP card or EBT card to buy liquor and cigarettes.
Yeah. And then on the other side of this, folks, because A, because it got mentioned in the chat, and B, because this was already where I was headed, I like to cover things evenly. Let's talk about how SNAP got started, because as much as I like to blame the Democrats, it was an unholy alliance between communists and people you might not expect at first. This is big. This is the largest corporations that are pushing this, and it's not just people you would assume, like Jamie Dimon, if I remember correctly, is like J.P. Morgan is unbelievably heavily invested in companies that benefit from SNAP. He's like one of the top benefiters from the SNAP program. SNAP looks like it is sold as welfare for the lowest percentage of the population. It's really welfare for some of the most powerful corporations in the country, and it has been since it got started. I have a suggestion. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about some other stuff in this, but I'd love to hear what Joe thinks about this, because I'm sure you didn't get to read this. I have an idea for how to go forward. I'm going to short circuit the first response from everybody in the chat, because I know and I agree. We shouldn't be giving them anything. We shouldn't. Unfortunately, we've already been doing it for 50 years. And so my plan is to just try and wean off with the lowest amount of unintended casualties, right? So my thought is, and tell me if I'm crazy, we replace the current cash for poverty system that we have, where you tell us you're poor so we give you cash. I think, honestly, you should replace it with kind of a regional meal prep service. Basically, if you've seen those like factor boxes or that kind of thing, where it's basically a prepped meal, it's in a box, it comes with instructions on how to make it. This builds skills, and this could basically be done by the government at incredibly low cost. And it kind of adds this interesting incentive to the program that I never really thought of. You can't cheat that. It's very hard to sell it. You're gonna go out and sell what, an individual serving of chicken and some vegetables? Yeah, that's not really gonna turn you a lot of cash. It'll be a lot cheaper for the government to do it this way, and it gives you an incentive to get off of it, because hey, the food might be decent and filling, but it's also something you didn't get to pick.
Right.
Just an idea.
No, I think that's on the right track, and I think making people actually come and get them rather than have them delivered
Yeah.
is good, because let's stop the cycle of absolute laziness, right?
Yes, I completely agree. And in fact, if you want to participate in the program, I think you should have to come and do a certain number of hours in the prep kitchen where everybody else, like where the meals themselves are getting prepped. Why does that not make sense?
Having witnessed this, if people in Kosovo or Somalia can walk 10 miles to a food distribution point to get their food, you can too,
Correct.
and it might actually help you in the in the over in the long term, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my last idea on that too is help keep the cost down. Use existing kitchens that the government already owns, like in school facilities, prisons, that kind of stuff, during the off hours when they normally would just be sitting unused for 18 hours a day in order to do that prep work. Yeah, that's what I think. It's good unemployment training. It's good independency training. But anyhow, let's talk about it. When would SNAP get cut off? Well, the answer is November 1st, from what I'm understanding. That's when that's when their cards would have been loaded, and they're not going to get loaded. And in fact, if I understand it correctly, even if they turn on the government, say November 2nd, it would still probably take a week or more to get that processed.
Well, what's funny is there's an old comedy skit, Chris Rock, where he was like, "How bad is our country when the poor people on EBT are fat?" That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
If you're getting government assistance for food, you shouldn't be fat. It's pretty simple.
BB, who I think is Wrench Turners, says had to jump in on this and say that the gov told farmers they had to do that box idea at a loss. Yeah, that's not going to work for anybody, but if they can figure it out to where they're paying market rate and just looking for discounts in bulk, get that figured out pretty quick. So let's talk about what the government's doing about it, because it's not every state that the EBT system's turning off. As I understand it, the EBT systems are administered by the states, but the funding is provided federally. And some of those states are finding other ways to fund the program in the short term. As far as I've seen, it's 35 out of the 50 states that it would turn off in.
Right. Well, generally, too, here's a bigger problem is that, as has been pointed out by the North Carolina situation, the states generally pay the benefits 1 month and get reimbursed the following. So what's actually not coming on November 1st is the reimbursement for monies already paid in October. And then the states actually flip that money. It's all sort of a money laundering scam, right?
Yeah.
It's a wash to avoid the fact they're just literally making up money out of nowhere. But so they're actually going to end up needing 2 months to recoup the financial loss, if that makes sense. But it's going to make it a lot harder to get back on track after.
Somebody's asking for a list. I have not seen a list. I'm gonna ask Grok if it'll do up a list for me real quick. We'll see if it'll.
Oh boy, yes. Let's ask Grok to do one more thing for us.
Hey man, it's basically like Google, right? It like if you're using it the way I'm using it, it's essentially like Google, only it doesn't misinterpret what I'm saying and take me to where Google's trying to sell me. It just gives me a link.
I'm going to disagree with that because they've done it It's done it a million times. Or admitted that it was lying.
Well, sure, but again, it admits it lies. Does Google admit it lies?
Oh, that makes it better.
Well, no, it's just, again, what other tool am I going to use to do searching? I'm using it like a search engine. Democrat states is where it's going to turn off, it looks like, which is another factor in this to tell you that this is being used as a weapon. Yeah, like the list is almost all Democrat states. I don't see any Republican state. No, Arkansas, I guess, is kind of a Republican state, right? Everything else is. So I'm looking at this little list that Grok spit out. It's all Democrat states. that it's getting
Oh,
cut off
yeah.
in, which tells you that it's being used as a weapon. The only state on here that I can see that's like, so Texas, New Hampshire, and maybe like Arkansas, I would say is purple.
No, it's not being used as a weapon. I think you need to be honest about it. The states administer the program. So the states are doing this to make it a weapon against the Republicans. It's not the Republican Party using it as a weapon.
No, that's what I'm saying is that because it's the Democrat states that are shutting it down, and most of the Republican states don't appear to be shutting it down. That does tell you that it's basically just being used as a weapon by the Democrats. It's being
and
it's
listen,
another one of their ratchets.
The posts made by Governor Greg Abbott, I doubt that Texas is a Republican state, Republican-led state. I mean, he was celebrating Diwali the other day.
Now, are you casting aspersions on Governor Wheels? Come on now.
Yes. Again. The answer is again.
How have they not replaced him at this point? It's shocking to me. I wish we had Don on to tell us about this, because I'm sure he could give us a run on Texas politics, but insane. Let's see. So far, so there are things being done. I just want to cover this real quick before we move on. The SNAP program has a contingency fund worth about $5 billion that could be used to pay for the program during the shutdown, a solution that's been championed by U.S. Conference of Mayors, a consortium of over 1,400 city leaders from across the U.S. SNAP is not only a federal nutrition program, it's a critical local economic stabilizer. Oof. Guys, I don't know how to say this. If we have a fund that is this big, and it's an everyday part of our society, but it's an economic stabilizer of over 1,400 cities across the U.S., maybe we gotta fix something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's not the way things operate. Maybe, I mean, I haven't looked up what the percentage is, but I thought last time I looked, it was something like 20% of the U.S. is on SNAP benefits to varying degrees.
Well, that's a problem.
It's a huge.
It's never meant to be a permanent source of income and a job, right? It was honestly meant to be a hand up in a short-term emergency to get you through till you got another job. And now we have entire cultures of people who want nothing to do with it. And that's not about race, because I've had a lot of poor white women who worked at a certain company I worked at. We would offer them, and they were like, no, I don't want to mess up my SNAP benefits. And if I got a promotion, they would cut my money, and I don't want that. Oh, so rather than bettering yourself through a career and actually making even more money, you just want as much free money as you can get from someone else. Fantastic people are.
Well, let's be honest about this, because it's easy to hate on the people that end up getting there. Let's also remember that these programs are designed that way on purpose. They're designed to be a catch-all trap, and they're designed to get you stuck in them and not make it very riskier than it would normally even be to try and take a step off, because you have this safety net. And why would you want to go start working and lose that safety net because you start making too much to have it anymore? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many parts of this that were literally diabolically designed to fuck these people up. We need to, for everybody's benefit, we need to end this.
Plantation.
Say again? Sorry.
Designed to keep the slaves on this plantation.
Completely correct. So, anyways, let's talk about where people are going with this, shall we? Because it's it's not good. Oh, here we go. Here's a Politico article, but it doesn't have the list, so never mind. We won't even cover it. Let's get right into it. I'm gonna give you an earphone warning, but I'm not gonna turn this up very loud. I'm just be prepared. Here you go.
Everybody going around saying that motherfuckers with the cart.
Yeah, even at low volume, that's enough of that for me. If you look
the one down there in bottom left, he said they want me to do 3 hours of work. And he's like, you work for somebody else? No.
Yeah, actually, he goes on to say the taxpayers work for me. Like it's literally the most disgusting possible thing you could imagine. And they just keep going on and on and on. If you look around, you will find no shortage of them. But the big ones, I would say, are kind of stuff like this.
You know what? If I don't get my food stamps, I'm going to Walmart, I'm going to rack up, and I'm going to ride right out the door. And I dare anybody to put their hands on me. I'm going back to stealing, so you better lock your cars. I'm going to take everything in sight.
What's funny is they seem to think that this is a winning message for them.
Here's what's funny is she thinks she's being witty and edgy, but that is prosecution exhibit 1 when she goes to court for aggravated robbery, right?
Yeah.
Very simple.
I have another one queued up. I promise we are not going to make you watch the whole thing, but I am going to give you a little taste. It's not good.
Oh God, let's go.
Trump. I'm gonna tell you just like this. What the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting their goddamn food stamps to goddamn November? Cause I'm getting my goddamn shit. I don't know about the rest of you motherfuckers.
I'm sorry. I can't play any more of this, but I will do this before we move on. And I know that this is kind of a break from topic, but is this Kristen Borisenko wearing a wig and makeup? Is that who this is?
It's going to turn out to be the other girl, Rachel. What's her name?
Dolezal.
Yeah, Dolezal. Yeah, low-key lark. Well played.
On a more serious note, though, I predict you're going to see a roughly 15 to 20% rise in violent crime. I predict this is probably going to be localized around grocery stores. Both, you're going to see a lot of robberies of grocery stores, and also a key tactic that I think people are going to be looking into. And in fact, the minute it got mentioned, I doubt that they're going to wait for EBT stuff to happen. I think this is probably just a good idea to start paying attention to. They have brought up the idea of waiting in the parking lot, waiting to see people coming out with a big loaded cart that don't appear to be paying much attention, and then robbing you in the parking lot on your way out the store. There was a whole friggin' clip of a lady explaining her entire plan for this, but unfortunately, X has made that unsearchable. Not literally, but I spent a long time trying to find it and I couldn't. So, yeah, I would say that is our be aware topic for the day. Grocery shopping may become a two-parent activity.
I remember a guy saying that eventually we would need to run Iraq-style convoys to get food, and seems he's turning out to be tactically wise.
High-calorie sexual. God damn.
Lost core, you just made up a new word, and I kind of like it. And Rowan, I'm about to block you from the chat.
I'm never going to
recover.
recover.
I would ask you, Rowan, how one might acquire this information. How do you know, bro? Shame on you.
I'm gonna swerve violently away from that line of thought. Joe, have you seen what's going on in Ireland?
Aye, laddie, I sure have. And in fact, last night we had some fighting 69th Irish in honor of it.
Oh wow, good stuff. Well, for those of you who haven't, there was a good reporter on the ground. This is a very, very long video he took, and it's mostly just clips from the night being on the ground there. I'm going to play it, but first let me give you a setup of why people are so angry. In what is sadly becoming... before I start this, I have to say, it disgusts me that even I, a person with quite good memory that does tend to remember these events quite well, has to say, wait, which one of them is this again? Where a young girl was taken by a migrant and abused.
10 years old, I believe.
10 years old in this case, yes. Specifically, I believe she was a ward of the state, meaning that she was taken from her family by the state and placed into a care home of some kind or another. She slipped away from her guardians near a hotel, a 5-star hotel, by the way, a very, very nice place with lovely large grounds, which I'm sure is why she decided to go walking there, just to go, the beautiful trees and grass near the river. Yeah. Awful. And of course, this is the police in that country when the man was arrested. It became very clear because of people on the ground who helped detain him before the police got there, I believe, that the man is from Senegal and is a person who's had a deportation order for 6 years. He tried to make an asylum claim that was rejected and had been ordered to leave for 6 years and yet is still in their country. So when this was found out that this had happened yet again, something snapped. And the Irish went a little bit nuts. And we're going to watch a little bit of this video. And Joe, you tell me to pause anytime you want to talk about something. But
Right.
we'll get stuck into this for a bit.
Get them out!
I'm gonna say we've already got this the laser action happening in other places. I told my local police that this would be a coming thing. As soon as you saw it in 2020, it's a cheap attack vector for these people. This stuff is going to spread. Oh, your earballs, was it way too loud? I apologize. It actually wasn't very loud on my side. Yeah, I'll warn you before I turn it back on. But not only are they attacking just the police on the ground with this, they've grounded 3 separate police helicopters.
Well, this is Antifa taking advantage of the confusion to get out and do their thing in the midst of somebody else's protest.
I would agree with you, except for that in Ireland, Antifa generally shows up on the side of the generally shows up to fight the people who are currently out, being anti-migrant. They probably are ducking in, though, because they do that everywhere. J6, all over the place. But I don't think that this can be 100% accredited to them. I think part of this...
Let me say this. You can protest illegal immigration without being an inhuman monster who blinds these guys.
Completely agree with you, 150%. That was what I wanted to get on. Is I don't want to blame Antifa for every time this happens. I want to blame Antifa for bringing this tactic to the light of the public and making people realize that lasers are cheap and can be highly effective like this. I do want to say though, police. This is a solvable countermeasure. It costs $3 per officer. It's a pair of glasses. It doesn't impede your vision. Moving on, though.
Where a migrant, an asylum seeker that was supposed to be deported, stayed in the country and raped a 10-year-old Irish girl that was in state care. And as you can see, things are massively kicking off here. There's probably well over 1,000 protesters. Unfortunately, this isn't the first crime we've seen like this, even in the last year or two. Things are really reaching a boiling point here.
I'm a father. I'm out here worried, sick about my kids. And he's out here protecting them. Book your paycheck. I feel sorry for you. I really do. But it's about time to stand up for the Irish people.
He's not wrong.
No, not at all.
It's about time when a cop says, "Hey, man, I'm not feeling real good today. I'm going to have to go home." So...
You keep talking. I'm just going to play this without some sound for a bit.
Is that was Demp was there?
On a Shetland pony, no less.
Yeah, well, that's why, because he looks like a normal, precise person on a pony.
You need to stand up, and like they say, the world is not just being ruined by people who are doing horrible things, but also by people who are sitting back and doing nothing. Obviously, we're spreading awareness. Obviously, people are annoyed, and they need to come out, and they need to, show in numbers. I think that what a lot of people would like to achieve is that we can get to the point where we do have a government that actually care about their people, that want to have safe borders, that want to protect children and women and our men, and want to put our people first. Not only are they trespassing and committing a crime coming into this country, but our government are putting them up in 5-star hotels. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I should have been a little more prepared, because I looked at what this hotel looks like last night. It is the kind of place you would expect rock stars and royalty to stay if they were in this country. It's like legitimate sprawling, large grounds, like utterly beautiful place. I think it's just utterly awful what's going on there. But I also think, yeah, you guys, you don't have to blind the police officers.
Pinochet nails it over on Rumble. I don't condone violence against innocent people, nor do I condone violence against the cops or taxpayer property. So why are the mobs not targeting the guilty politicians who enacted these policies? Bingo. Stop protesting at the hotel. Go protest at the home of your MP who voted for this, your local council.
It's a lot more likely to change more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the migrants have the ability to make it stop. I will say that is... I get the instinct. I understand where people are coming from. A lot of these people, particularly the ones that aren't, here committing awful crimes, they're just responding to incentives. And in fact, a lot of them got told by our governments that we wanted them here.
I'll be honest, illegal immigration is illegal. Protest is lawful. So the police are protecting the wrong people in this case.
True. $5 from Lance Corporal Veteran. With low gun ownership in Ireland and the UK, if it pops off, the early days will be medieval.
Let me rephrase this. I got to correct you on this.
Yeah, it's not quite true.
There's low documented gun ownership in Ireland. Ireland is probably...
Yeah. We lost Joe. Hopefully he comes back quickly. But Ireland probably has the... I would suspect Ireland's probably got Europe's... Oh, hey, Joe's back. There we go.
I'm just saying that there are more firearms buried in Ireland than there are in a lot of other countries. So they can arm up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's amazing what American ingenuity and Irish descendants living in the Massachusetts area can do with a little bit of time and some ships.
Well, and Irish men own a lot of shovels, and they own those shovels for a reason. So.
They sure do. So here's something that we saw during these riots, is that at a certain point they decided to start performing mandatory checkpoints on cars to see if people were Irish citizens or not. And if they weren't, I don't believe anybody was pulled out of their car and beaten per se, but they didn't have a good time.
It's almost like we may have pointed out on the show a time or two that if government and law enforcement refuses to do their jobs, the people will on their own, and it will be a lot more violent than the government doing it.
And messier, and a lot less clean, because when you scare people into acting, like when you scare people that just want to be left alone and just want to go about their day and do their job and provide for their family into doing actions, they generally overreact. Of course, that is what the left's counting on. Yeah, burning police vans. Here's another one I saw. I will say immediately when I saw this clip, my brain thought that was a musket.
Well, sort of.
So yeah, the Roman candles got busted out. You know what's funny, guys? The Irish, who can't own firearms for the most part, they have Roman candles, but many people, many of you aren't allowed to buy them or own them. Huh. That feels weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, where do we see this going, Joe?
I see it continuing to expand, but I'm going to say this: good for them,
Yeah.
James. If a man knows the good he ought to do and does not do it, it will count as sin for him. Those men know the good they ought to do, and they are doing it. You have to make your displeasure known. You can't live behind the keyboard. At some point, we have to get out and make our voices heard in the streets. That doesn't mean violence. That means getting our displeasure known and in numbers and loud.
Absolutely correct. I also hope that the Irish doing this help to give other peoples who have sold their own backbones down the river a second grasp at it.
Hey, Rowan, that's not right, but it's also accurate. If y'all are not in the Rumble chat, you are missing out on some banger comments.
Yeah,
the Irish Citizen Test is naming all of the marshmallow shapes in Lucky Charms. Oh,
I'm pretty sure. I think you have to do it while a member of Garda holds you down and taps on your forehead, though. I think that's the trick, right?
Yeah.
All right, folks. That's all we have for you. Oh no, I guess there's one more, which is just this last view, which came out earlier this morning of the police finally, the crowd getting small enough and the police getting enough reinforcements that they finally pushed them back out of the hotel area.
Someone tried to tell me that those weapons are buried in Northern Ireland on Ireland. That's not true. The Northern Irish buried their weapons in Ireland. They crossed the border, buried them on farms in the counties.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is. Those weapons are inside of Ireland proper. Anyway, carry on.
Well, no, that's kind of all I got for you today, folks. There is a great many things to be on the lookout for. Joe, what do you have for the people? What do you got for them for the weekend?
Matt and I just gave a pretty good impromptu live radio contra session yesterday morning about the implications and the potential for kinetic action in Venezuela over the weekend. I believe that is highly likely. So does Matt. In fact, last night, Hunch and I watched two fighter jets streak over this place, coming probably from Norfolk or somewhere like that. Whatever I know, y'all, whatever naval air base that is right by Norfolk, between Little Creek and Norfolk. But they came flying over here, and there was a mass liftoff of Ospreys from Puerto Rico. So everything appears to be shaping up pretty heavily for kinetic action in Venezuela. I'll remind everyone that there's a Russian regiment of Tu-160 bombers in Venezuela. And in the harbor, just off of that, is a battalion of Iranian Republican Guard Corps troops. You might wonder what the IRGC is doing on an island in the middle of the Caribbean. What is the IRGC exceptionally good at in the Persian Gulf? Small boat operations and interdiction operations. They're there to protect the Russian air base from American Special Forces incursions. So all of the forces are certainly correlating in that area towards conflict. I'd also point out that the last two boats that we sunk were not on the Caribbean side. They were on the Pacific side. So we're widening the scope of our operation there. And it definitely looks at it. Lance Corporal Veteran, yeah, I'm trying to get some confirmation on the shots fired at the Coast Guard base, but we shall see. But the shots were fired.
I've got video.
The shots were fired by the Coast Guard, though, at the vehicle. They weren't fired at the Coast Guard.
Well, look at what we got here, Joe.
A U-Haul truck. Weird.
It's never Penske. It's never
It's never one of those Lowe's trucks. It's always a U-Haul.
It is. I'm going to play this with audio. Huh. Let me see if we got.
This is the part that troubles me.
Go ahead.
Literally nothing happened. Was he like checking his Instagram, putting out a tweet? What's going on? And
I
then
have
he's
no
going to
idea.
drive away. Why was this vehicle not swarmed by the Coast Guard MAs and whoever else was firing at him?
I would assume because they're not sure if this is a VBIED or not.
I suppose.
Yeah, what the fuck is he doing? Like, how would you not be also masked up? So this wasn't just like some kind of mistake or something. This obviously was an attack. Wow. Yeah. The device didn't work. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what that looks like to me. That's exactly what that looks like to me. That looks like, oh, it didn't go off. Uh-oh. What do I do now?
And yeah, listen, Dove Omega, I would agree with you in every area except law enforcement. Coast Guard law enforcement is legit. So
Did he get away? Well, I don't know. This is from 7 hours ago, and this is something you guys are sending us. But from
he
what
did.
it looks
He
like to
actually
me,
pulled off, drove away.
yeah, this is in Alameda, California. So, it's a island between Alameda Island and Oakland, California. It's a 2-lane bridge. There's only one way off the island on the bridge. Oh, so he may have got away, but he's stuck on a small island with only one way out. Okay. Well, stand by for updates on that then, guys. That could get interesting. I'd check it on X. Yeah, guys. The happenings are beginning to breach the Monday through Thursday barrier. So, seriously, we're getting VBIEDs now. Listen, man, that's I'm telling you that in the situation we're in, that is a matter of time.
Yeah, and VBIEDs have been happening in America all summer, and they're just not getting talked about.
Yeah.
So.
All right, everybody. Stay sharp out there. As Scott would say, stay safe.